1 minute ago, the political landscape of Britain shifted dramatically. Labour MPs are abandoning their party, defecting to Reform UK, and leaving Keir Starmer in a state of panic. This isn't just a political hiccup, it's a seismic event that could redefine the future of British politics. The shockwaves began when a surprising number of Labour MPs quietly announced their defection to Reform UK, igniting a firestorm within the Labour Party ranks. For weeks, whispers of unrest had been circulating behind closed doors, but no one expected such a sudden and organised exodus. These MPs, disillusioned with Starmer's leadership and the party's direction, found a new home with Reform UK, a party rapidly gaining momentum as the voice of hardline reform and national sovereignty. This defection is not just about numbers, it symbolises a collapse of trust within Labour's core. Starmer, once seen as a unifying figure, now faces accusations of failing to address the critical concerns of his own members. The party's internal divisions, once manageable, have now exploded into the open, threatening to tear the Labour Party apart just months before a crucial general election. Sources close to the situation reveal that the defection wasn't a spontaneous rebellion, but the result of months of dissatisfaction fueled by Starmer's hesitance on key issues like immigration, economic reform, and national security. Many MPs felt sidelined, ignored, and increasingly frustrated with a leadership style they describe as weak and indecisive. Reform UK capitalised on this unrest, promising a bold new direction and a return to the values they claim Labour has abandoned. The defection has already caused chaos in Parliament, with vote counts becoming unpredictable and alliances shifting overnight. Political analysts warn that this turmoil could lead to an early election, forcing voters to choose between a fractured Labour Party and a rising Reform UK, now emboldened by this historic defection. Starmer's team is reportedly scrambling to contain the damage, but the cracks are deep, and the public's confidence in Labour is rapidly eroding. As the news spreads, public reaction has been explosive. Supporters of Reform UK are celebrating what they call a long overdue cleansing of British politics, while Labour loyalists express shock and betrayal. Social media is ablaze with debates, memes and calls for accountability from both sides. Starmer's image, once polished and composed, is now marred by images of frustration and desperation. The media is questioning whether this upheaval is the beginning of the end for Labour's chances in the next election. Experts argue that unless Starmer can unify his party and offer a clear, compelling vision for Britain, this defection could mark the start of a long, painful decline. The coming days will be critical, with intense negotiations and possible further defections looming. One thing is clear: British politics will never be the same again. The fallout from this unprecedented defection has plunged the Labour Party into a state of crisis unlike anything seen in recent decades. Keir Starmer, who had carefully crafted an image of steady leadership and party unity, now finds himself facing an internal revolt that threatens to unravel everything he has worked for. Behind closed doors, the atmosphere within Labour headquarters is described as chaotic and tense. Starmer's closest advisers are scrambling to assess the damage and devise a strategy to stem the flow of defections. The trust that once existed between Starmer and many of his MPs has been shattered, replaced by suspicion and fear. This defection wave is more than just a political embarrassment. It exposes deep ideological rifts and dissatisfaction with the key leadership's approach on critical national issues. Reform. UK's sudden surge is no accident. The party has spent months positioning itself as the true alternative to the establishment, appealing to voters and politicians alike who feel abandoned by traditional parties. Their platform, centred around tough stances on immigration, law and order and economic reform, resonates strongly with many Labour MPs who believe their party has drifted too far to the left or become complacent. The defection signals a realignment in British politics, where old loyalties are breaking down and new alliances are forming rapidly. This shift is shaking the very foundations of the political system and forcing all parties to reconsider their strategies ahead of what could be one of the most volatile election seasons in modern history. Starmer's public response to the defection has been a mix of shock and defiance. In a rare display of vulnerability, he admitted that Labour faces significant challenges, but insisted the party would fight back harder than ever. However, this statement has done little to reassure the public or party members. Critics argue that Starmer has consistently failed to address the root causes of dissatisfaction within Labour ranks, particularly regarding the party's stance on key policies and the perceived disconnect between leadership and grassroots members. The defection is seen by many as a direct consequence of these failures. Political commentators suggest that Starmer's position is now precarious, with some calling for a leadership review or even an early leadership contest to salvage the party's future. The defections are also reshaping the parliamentary landscape in profound ways. With more MPs crossing the floor to Reform UK, the balance of power in the House of Commons is shifting unpredictably. This has immediate consequences for legislative business, with previously secure Labour votes now in jeopardy. The government's ability to pass laws and maintain stability is being tested, adding to the growing uncertainty. Reform UK, emboldened by its new members, is poised to leverage this momentum to push for more aggressive reforms and challenge the status quo. Their newfound influence is unsettling for both Labour and Conservative leaders, who must now navigate a fragmented parliament with shifting allegiances. The political chessboard has been reset, and the moves in the coming weeks will be critical in determining the direction of the country. Meanwhile, ordinary Britons are watching this political drama unfold with a mix of frustration and curiosity. Public opinion polls have begun to reflect the turmoil within Labour, showing declining support and increasing openness to alternative parties like Reform UK. Voters, disillusioned by decades of political gridlock and scandals, are searching for a party that promises decisive action and clear leadership. The defection of Labour MPs to Reform UK taps into this sentiment, fueling the narrative that change is not only necessary, but inevitable. This political earthquake is exposing deep divisions within British society itself, between urban and rural, progressive and conservative, establishment and populist forces. As the country braces for the fallout, the stakes could not be higher. The next election will not just be a contest between parties, it will be a battle for the soul and future identity of Britain. The dramatic defection of Labour MPs to Reform UK has sent shockwaves beyond just party politics, exposing deeper fractures in British democracy and governance. This mass exodus is emblematic of a broader crisis of confidence in traditional political institutions, which many feel have become out of touch with the realities facing everyday citizens. Reform UK's appeal lies in its promise to disrupt the status quo, offering a platform that addresses concerns neglected by mainstream parties, issues like uncontrolled immigration, lawlessness, and economic stagnation. For many defecting Labour MPs, Reform UK represents a chance to align themselves with a movement that appears more attuned to the desires of their constituents and the country's urgent needs. This shift has reignited debates about the future direction of British politics, forcing analysts and insiders alike to reconsider long-held assumptions about party loyalty and voter behaviour. Keir Starmer's leadership is under intense scrutiny as the Labour Party grapples with this unprecedented crisis. Once seen as a steady hand capable of uniting a fractured party, Starmer now faces accusations of failing to connect with the grassroots, of being too cautious, and of allowing internal dissent to fester unchecked. Sources close to the party reveal that internal meetings have grown increasingly contentious, with heated arguments about strategy and the need for urgent reform. Starmer's team is reported to be divided over how to respond, with some urging a more aggressive stance to win back lost support, while others caution against alienating moderate voters. This internal turmoil is making it difficult for Labour to present a coherent message to the public or to offer a clear alternative to the government. The party's image is taking a severe hit, with many wondering if it can recover from this staggering blow. Reform UK is capitalising on the chaos within Labour with calculated precision. The party has intensified its campaign efforts, targeting disillusioned voters and former Labour supporters who feel betrayed by the party's direction. Their leaders are positioning Reform UK not just as an alternative, but as a necessary force to save the nation from what they describe as failed governance. They highlight Labour's defections as proof that even the party's own members no longer believe in its leadership or policies. This messaging is resonating widely, especially in key battleground areas where voters are hungry for change. As more MPs join Reform UK, the party's influence grows, allowing it to push its agenda more forcefully in Parliament and in public discourse. This surge presents a real challenge to both Labour and the Conservatives, signalling a possible realignment in British politics that could last for years. The wider implications of this political upheaval extend into the very fabric of British society. The defection crisis has sparked intense media coverage, public debate and social media frenzy, highlighting the deep divisions that have been simmering beneath the surface. It has revived discussions about national identity, the role of immigration, economic policy, and the effectiveness of the political system itself. For many citizens, this moment is a stark reminder of the volatility and unpredictability of modern politics. It also raises pressing questions about the future, whether Britain will move toward greater polarisation or find new ways to bridge divides. The shockwaves from Labour's internal collapse and the rise of Reform UK will be felt not just in Parliament, but in communities across the country, influencing elections, policies, and public sentiment for the foreseeable future. This is more than a political story. It is a pivotal moment that could reshape Britain's path forward. The fallout from this historic upheaval within Labour has set off a cascade of consequences that now threaten to destabilise the broader political landscape of the United Kingdom. The immediate impact on Labour is devastating. The party finds itself hemorrhaging not only members, but also public trust and political capital at an alarming rate. Polls are showing steep declines in Labour support. As voters recoil from the images of chaos and internal betrayal, many traditional Labour voters are left feeling abandoned and confused, caught between loyalty to a party in crisis and the rising appeal of Reform UK's bold, uncompromising stance. This mass defection is more than just a loss of MPs. It represents a profound identity crisis within Labour itself. Questions swirl about the party's future direction, ideology and leadership. Starmer's authority is increasingly challenged, and murmurs of potential leadership contests are growing louder behind closed doors. The unity that Starmer once promised seems fractured beyond repair, leaving Labour on the defensive as it scrambles to prevent further erosion. Meanwhile, Reform UK is riding a wave of momentum that threatens to disrupt the traditional two-party dominance that has defined British politics for decades. The party's aggressive recruitment of disillusioned Labour MPs is just the beginning. Reform UK is rapidly expanding its grassroots support, leveraging social media campaigns, local rallies, and targeted messaging to consolidate its gains. Their narrative is clear and compelling. A fresh start for Britain, free from the corruption and incompetence they accuse the establishment parties of perpetuating. This strategy is winning over voters who feel forgotten and voiceless, especially in regions hardest hit by economic uncertainty, rising crime, and social unrest. As Reform UK gains seats in Parliament and visibility in public discourse, the UMT traditional political order faces an existential challenge. The party's rise also emboldens other fringe and populist movements, signalling a shift toward more fragmented and volatile electoral outcomes in the next general election. The stakes have never been higher, and the political landscape is set for a dramatic transformation. The government, observing this crisis unfold, is seizing the opportunity to capitalise on Labour's weakness. Conservative leaders are stepping up their attacks on Starmer's Labour, portraying the party as deeply divided and incapable of governing effectively. They highlight the defections as evidence of Labour's internal dysfunction and failure to represent the British people's interests. This rhetoric is aimed at consolidating Conservative support and swaying undecided voters wary of political instability. However, the government must also tread carefully, as the rise of Reform UK threatens to siphon off Conservative votes, complicating their path to securing a majority. The shifting allegiances on the right and centre of the political spectrum have introduced new uncertainties, making coalition building and election strategy more complex than ever. The next months will be crucial as all parties adjust to the new realities and fight for dominance in a rapidly evolving political battlefield. Beyond the immediate political machinations, this crisis has profound implications for democracy and governance in the UK. Voter apathy and distrust in political institutions, already high, risk deepening as the spectacle of party defections and leadership struggles plays out in the public eye. Citizens demand accountability, clarity, and effective leadership, qualities that appear increasingly scarce amid the turmoil. The media frenzy surrounding the defections and reform. UK's rise only intensifies public anxiety and speculation about the country's future. Meanwhile, questions about policy direction, social cohesion, and national unity come to the forefront. Will this political fragmentation lead to more effective representation and renewed engagement, or will it deepen divisions and gridlock? The answers remain uncertain, but one thing is clear. The UK is entering an era of unprecedented political uncertainty and change. The coming weeks and months will reveal how parties, leaders, and the electorate navigate this crisis, and the consequences will shape British politics for years to come. As the political earthquake triggered by Labour MPs fleeing to reform UK continues to reverberate across Britain, the broader implications for the country's future become increasingly stark and complex. This is not simply a story of political manoeuvring or party rivalry. It is a defining moment that exposes deep fractures within the British political system and society itself. The defection of MPs to reform UK has shattered long-held assumptions about party loyalty, ideological cohesion, and the stability of traditional power structures. It has sent shockwaves that are felt far beyond Westminster, shaking the foundations of governance, public trust, and national identity. The immediate challenge for Keir Starmer and Labour is monumental. Starmer's leadership is now under intense scrutiny as critics within and outside the party question whether he can unify a fracturing party or if his authority has been irrevocably damaged. The defection crisis exposes a painful truth. Labour has struggled to reconcile its historic working-class roots with its modern political ambitions, leaving many MPs and voters feeling alienated. Starmer's vision of a centrist, reformist Labour has faced growing resistance from factions that demand a clearer commitment to traditional Labour values, or conversely, a stronger break from the status quo. The mass exodus of MPs to reform UK underscores these tensions, revealing a party at war with itself and unable to present a compelling unified front to the electorate. This internal chaos threatens Labour's ability to mount an effective opposition or to prepare for the next general election with confidence. At the same time, Reform UK's dramatic rise is redefining what it means to be a viable political force in the UK. Once considered a fringe party, Reform UK has capitalised on widespread public frustration with the established party's handling of key issues like immigration, economic recovery, and national sovereignty. By welcoming defectors from Labour, Reform UK not only gains experienced politicians, but also sends a powerful message of political disruption and renewal. This new coalition symbolises a break from traditional political norms, appealing to voters who feel ignored or betrayed by both Labour and the Conservatives. The party's rhetoric, sharp, direct, and unapologetically populist, resonates strongly in many communities that have seen little improvement in their living standards or political representation. As Reform UK strengthens its position, it forces the entire political establishment to reassess strategies and alliances, opening the door to unpredictable electoral outcomes and reshaped power dynamics. The consequences of this upheaval also extend into the broader governance of the UK. With the established opposition weakened and divided, the government under the Conservative leadership finds itself in a precarious position. On one hand, the Conservative Party attempts to exploit Labour's turmoil by positioning itself as the stable alternative capable of delivering results. Yet, the rise of Reform UK presents a dual challenge. It risks splitting the right-leaning vote and undermining Conservative dominance in key constituencies. This fragmentation complicates efforts to secure a clear parliamentary majority and govern effectively. In response, political strategists on all sides are recalibrating their approaches, seeking new coalitions and messaging that can appeal to an electorate growing weary of instability and infighting. The potential for snap elections looms larger, as the current political environment appears volatile and unpredictable. Beyond party politics, the defection crisis and Reform UK's surge raise urgent questions about the state of democracy and Political engagement in Britain. Public confidence in political institutions is shaken as voters witness unprecedented factionalism and rapid shifts in allegiance. Many citizens express disillusionment and scepticism, wondering if their voices will ever be truly heard or if political leaders are more focused on power struggles than solving real problems. The media spotlight on these events amplifies the sense of drama, but also fuels uncertainty and polarization. Amid this backdrop, the demand for transparency, accountability, and authentic representation grows louder. Whether the current upheaval will energize a new wave of political participation or deepen cynicism remains a critical question facing British society. In this uncertain moment, all eyes are on how the key players respond. Keir Starmer must decide whether to fight for party unity, redefine his leadership, or risk further defections that could seal Labour's decline. Reform UK faces the challenge of transitioning from a rising insurgent force to a credible governing alternative, a shift that will test its organisational capacity and policy coherence. The Conservative government must navigate the treacherous waters of a divided opposition while managing its own internal pressures and public expectations. Meanwhile, the electorate watches closely, aware that the decisions made in the coming weeks will shape not only the next election, but the very future direction of the United Kingdom. This political drama, charged with suspense and uncertainty, is far from over, and the next chapter promises to be even more consequential. If you want to stay ahead of these shocking political developments and never miss a crucial update, make sure to hit that subscribe button now. Turn on notifications so you're the first to know when new explosive stories break. Share this video with everyone who cares about the future of Britain, because these events affect us all. Your voice matters, so join the conversation in the comments below and let us know what you think about this unprecedented political uprising. Stay informed, stay engaged, and stay ready. The story is just getting started.